Sir Geoffrey Clifton-Brown.
Madam Deputy Speaker, thank you for allowing me to speak in this debate, and I also am pleased to follow the Honourable Lady in her speech and agree with what she says about farmers and draw attention to my register of members' interests. This budget was an omnishambles. Not only have the government been dripping leaks for the last month, which has undermined the market and business confidence, the OBR in error yesterday published on their website the budget 45 minutes before it was given at the dispatch box. This is unprecedented. The pound went down, hedge funds were already betting against the market, and some made millions. This does not provide confidence and stability in our public finances. It is undeniable that we are now in a much worse financial position than we were when we were responding to the budget last year. Yeah. To put simply, the government is spending more than this country can afford. Last year, the Chancellor announced £40 billion in tax rises. We were promised that this would be a once-in-a-lifetime increase and that this would have filled the so-called black hole. So why has the Chancellor come back this year with another huge tranche of £26 billion of tax rises? This tax burden is equivalent to 38.3% of GDP by the end of this Parliament. And staggeringly, it is at an all-time record high of tax on this country. Interestingly, spending will go up, but many will go up now, but many taxes will not go up until 28/9, around about the time of the next election. So MPs opposite should take careful note of this measure that the government introduced yesterday. A growth rate of 1.5% per annum is lower than forecast, and growth per head is at the bottom of the G7 league. However, for the OBR to downgrade productivity rate to just 1% by 29/30 is alarming because it implies that growth will continue to flatline. Staggeringly, the chairman of the OBR has said that nothing, I repeat, nothing in the budget will score towards increased growth. The Public Accounts Committee, of which I have the privilege to chair, has been banging on the drum to put more money towards digital skills and the use of AI in all government departments and agencies. In the spring statement, most departments were allocated more money going towards new technology. We've heard time after time in the Public Accounts Committee that old legacy IT equipment needs to be replaced because large learning models such as AI need new digital technology to be able to accommodate this. Also, old analogue systems are much more prone to cyber attacks. Yet any improvements in efficiency are offset by the debt and the interest to service it. Last month, the UK national debt has reached a staggering record amount of 2.6 trillion, and by 29/30, the debt interest alone will be £136 billion a year. That would be the third largest department if it were a government department, and it doesn't treat a single child or educate anybody else. I'd like to now turn to the one thing I can say about this budget. It's not being discriminatory. It hurts working people, savers, pensioners, drivers, farmers, homeowners, businesses, and I could go on and on, are all being taxed more to pay for this out-of-control spending. This is not a budget for working people. It's a budget to pay for the massive increase in the welfare state. Indeed, as a stark example, the government announced yesterday that it would increase the Help to Save scheme for universal credit claimants, which of course is tax-free, whereas ordinary working taxpayers will see the tax on their savings increase by 2%. Where is the fairness in that? The OBR has forecast that the welfare state is going to rise by a staggering £73.2 billion to £406.2 billion over the next 5 years. One of the aspects of the economy at the moment is the unemployment rate has increased to 5.1%. At the end of last year, it was 4.3%. So we now have, sadly, 1.79 million people out of work. And I suspect that everything that was announced in the budget yesterday will only increase that figure more. And as I said in an increase on my right honourable friend, the Shadow Chancellor, what is really sad about those figures is the unemployment rate for 16 to 24-year-olds is nearly 5%. I now go on to the two-child benefit. In April 25, 37,020 households in the UK on universal credit with exactly 5 children, and an additional 18,260 households with 6 or more children existed. As a father, I know how much it costs to bring up children. It is the best decision I ever made, but I know the costs associated with childcare. Many parents up and down this country, including my constituents, are taking tough decisions about not having any more children. And these parents are paying out for those, they are having to work harder to afford their existing children. Where is the fairness in this system? Briefly.
Paul, what would happen if he had 3 or 4 children and he were to fall ill or have to care for a sick one? Would he then expect those children to suffer from that plight?
Sir Geoffrey Clifton-Brown.
It's always possible to find cases which are very difficult to deal with. In government, you have to make decisions about the totality of the population, and I think that it is up to parents on benefit to think very carefully about how many children they have and the circumstances that they might find themselves in. No, I won't give away any more. I've given away once on this subject. Our wealth-creating sector is shrinking, and whereas the public sector is ballooning. Yet it is this government's policies that are punishing businesses and wealth creators. The freezing of tax threshold is a tax rise, which she had confirmed many times in the dispatch box. She has confirmed that it will now be frozen for another 3 years. Every time it's frozen, it brings more people into the tax net. In this case, it's forecast to be another 750,000 being brought into the tax net. The 2% savings on dividends is another penalisation on those working hard to save their money. Where are the incentives to save money if the government is now taking more of their savings? Finally, hospitality businesses are going to be hit hard in this budget. In the North Cotswolds, they are at the heart of the community. Yet at around the moment, one pub nationally is closing its doors every day. I don't see any pub land welcoming this budget.
Order.